have some blue sheets. Some of them are white because you ran out of blue sheets. But, so first one is Mark Sacco.
I'm Mark Sacco. I work for the after-school program. I'm in my fourth year. I'm a classroom assistant with Roxy Youngworth. We started hearing rumor about a month or so ago that they were not going to continue the after-school program next year. And obviously that's quite concerning to us. Just to give you a little background about it, I was hired 4 years ago by Terry Massiarchi, who used to run the program. And I've done all 4 grades actually, because it's 1 through 4. And just to give you a little bit of an idea, we're in the 7th year of the grant. There's 3 years left. Each year we get $50,000. This year there's 82 students in the program, and the program runs from 3:15 to 5:45. With academics, enrichment, recess, and snacks. I guess our concern is this is an absolute free program to the district. It's a grant by the federal government. Why would you want to discontinue something that's a good program? It's a very positive thing to the students, and I know there's some parents here tonight that support it as well, but we're just here to express our concern that we hope you don't discontinue it.
Thank you.
And I'm Roxy Youngworth, and I also work in the after-school program, and Mark said most of what I was going to say, but needless to say, Terry Macy-Archin is the reason why we do have the grant, which again he said is we're in our 7th year. We have another 3 years left. Our activities include STEM objectives, so we're working on science, technology, engineering, and math, as well as art. We have, again, no boys or girls club here in Clintonville. We have no YMCA. And one of the goals of our after-school program was to provide a safe environment for our students. Isn't that what we all want?
Thank you. Lisa Olmsted.
And I have 2 children, I guess firstly, I'm sure you might know. Before you consider discontinuing the program, I hope that you consider, from my standpoint, some of the benefits that my children have gained. And as a parent, I feel truly blessed that they've had this opportunity to have the after-school program. Initially, I did not send my children to the after-school program due to the fact that from a parent standpoint, they're in school all night. But then my son's teacher, Alex's teacher, had asked me if I would consider it because he needed, and Alex is in 2nd grade at this point, this is when he was in 1st grade, that I would consider sending him to the after-school program due to the fact that he needed more help with reading. So I did consider it. I was a little apprehensive for the fact of sending him, just for the fact of extending your day, a longer day, just to kind of give you an overview of my day. I work, and I drop my kids off at daycare at 6 o'clock at St. Martin's Daycare. They are involved in the running club. On Mondays and Wednesdays they go to the running club. I work the whole day. They go to school, and after school they go to the after-school program and attend the after-school program. And as you can tell, that's a long day for a child. But when they started the after-school program, with my apprehensiveness of them spending more time in school, if they do not, at this point, if I say I'm going to be picking you up early, they beg me to want to go. So obviously, the people that are doing it are doing a wonderful job because they want to go to it. And again, so my son is a 2nd grader, and he has been getting extra reading help, and it has shown in his report card, with what he's doing. The other thing is he gets extra assistance with his homework if needed. He's also learning many things, and this is a he didn't stay because obviously this is too late for him. But he even inside himself tonight. He feels like he has more respect for the teachers. Sometimes, if anybody knows what I'm saying, sometimes he's kind of hard. He likes to get his point across, but like he feels his view as he's getting respect. Also, he gets to spend other, and this is my daughter, Olivia, with me. I hope you won't mind if she says a little thing after I'm done. She wants to share something with it as well. He's very happy. He's very happy being a boy. He's happy with being able to stay at school longer. And Olivia, she is a 4th grader at school, and she at this time doesn't need her to assistant academically, but she wants to go to the after-school program. She has learned different aspects of learning the program, and she is enjoying the idea of being with other fellow classmates, spending time with them. Also, not only that, she's learning more education than before. Since this is her last year in elementary school, she has noticed other kids from the upper, since middle school discontinued their after-school program, she was hoping to look forward to the fact of coming back after school and assisting where needed, with what is needed. And if you wouldn't mind, can Olivia please say a few words?
Certainly.
You gotta come closer.
Oh.
We can barely hear you.
I'm sorry. Here.
I love after school because it helps me learn how to respect, how to learn teamwork, how to learn community service, and how to learn how to do many things besides just playing with friends, to learn how to do more math, more spelling, and to learn how to go the extra mile with my homework or something like that, and always try my best with everything I do.
We have one more official.
Well, I know all of you guys know who I am, but I'm not sure if you all know who this one is. She's my little mini-me. Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Cassie, and I'm in 4th grade, and I go in the after-school program and the 26th grade. I really enjoy the after-school program because we get to use it when I go to Clintonville, and we get to use computer machines. And we did this when we wrote the science experiment, and we made a bomb that was blow up. And it was a chemical reaction with hot water and vapor, and it was off the bed because it was get all the in your top and the boiling water. These students were really fun and got me ready for algebra. We did a little bit of algebra, and I came home with the sheets and my dad all excited, and he gave me a couple of problems to do too, and I got them too. That really well. We get more time to do homework. That's the reason I signed up in the first place. I never got my homework done. But I really enjoy having recess time and spending time with my friends. And it gives me more time to play with my friends and to get food and the plays that we don't get to do together. And they got books there and stuff after, and so it's really fun. I just wish it would go on and it was good. It's a really fun program.
You can sit and we'll finish. Thank you. When we're with our children around the dinner table, we always ask them what they learned at school today, what they did, this kind of stuff. And it was probably a month or so ago, we were asking Cassidy what she had done that day, and she said, you know, she had learned something in an after-school program, and she said she learned algebra. And I thought, no, 4th grade, right? And I said, well, what kind of algebra, Cassidy? Let me see this. And she proceeds to pick up this paper, and she's showing me, and she's solving for y. It's honestly, it's algebra that I learned in 7th grade. The kid is in 4th grade. She's learning it after school, in the after-school program they are. Cassidy was originally put in the after-school program, I think in second grade. Greg and I had gone to a parent-teacher conference, and the teacher was concerned about her reading, and had thought she needed a little bit of a boost in her reading. And so we did go ahead and put her in there. It went up, and then after that, we gave her the option if she wanted to continue or not, and she did. She doesn't need it anymore. This child, we got her test scores this fall, high average in reading. She does not need that anymore, but she loves it. She wants it. She likes to see the things explode. Thanks, Roxy and Mark. She liked that a lot. I cannot fathom why the district would even consider eliminating a program that you do not pay a penny for. And I try to rack my brain all these different reasons. Does it leave the school in disarray and a mess? Are the kids misbehaved? You know, I can't come up with anything. You have over 80 kids in the program. You have phenomenal teachers and assistants. The first year I actually taught at the middle school. I did a program. I thought it was fun. I think it's a great place for the kids to go. I don't understand. I heard that the district doesn't like that parents use it as a free babysitting service. That may be the case for some parents. It is not the case for me. And I will tell you that even if it is the case for some of those parents, I really don't mind. If that is going to be a better place, a safer, healthier place for those kids to be than at home or the park unattended, wherever it may be, I'm fine with it. And as the school district, you should be looking out for the whole school district. If that will help them, and it doesn't cost you anything, what harm is it? Then I heard the district is not in compliance. We can't continue it next year. We're not in compliance. I checked with the DPI. Stephanie and I did a lot of research last week. We know several people at DPI now, and we learned a lot. One of the things we learned, this district is in good standing and is completely in compliance to their knowledge in the elementary after-school program. And they're very much looking forward to receiving our application and continuing the program. And the lady there and her supervisor were both very, very helpful. So I guess I would love to hear a reason why it wouldn't continue. I'll wait to hear that, but as of right now, I can't think of any good ones. I'm just going to mention two other quick things before I'm done. That's it on the after school. Miss Jacobson, I think she left. Oh, she's still here. Everything that woman said, heck yeah, I'll second that. Because she said so much of what I was already thinking. And I'm tired of hearing things about our district that are bad. How many of you guys were on this board 10 years ago? In 2005? Yeah, Clyde, I knew you were. Tom, I had a feeling you weren't. Sure? No?
Yeah.
How many incoming kids did we have for open enrollment? In the 20s, right? At least, if not 30s. Do you guys remember when that happened? I started covering school board meetings in 2005. Our numbers were right around 20 to 30 kids coming into our district in the positive. Now you're talking we're losing kids. Mike Krieger and I butt heads from time to time, and it's okay because we respect each other. What he said tonight, I will also second that. And I think that the district ought to start paying attention to what's happening here. We're losing students. We're getting upset parents. You're talking about eliminating 2 programs tonight that parents are showing up for. We're getting rid of teachers that are well loved. And I think that you really need to slow down and take a second look at the choices that you guys are making. Please don't just go by whatever is recommended of you. Do the digging. Do the research. If a teacher is going to resign, call them. Ask them. Can I have a private meeting? Why are you resigning? How did you enjoy it? Do an exit interview. It doesn't hurt. Maybe you'll learn a little bit something from them by having that conversation. Thank you.
Is there any board discussion or administrative discussion?
I handed out some packets that I had gotten from Steve Fairland from the DPI. He called me and he said, can you help explain why Clintonville District has gone from the most esteemed program, one of the best in the nation, used as a model of how to do it right, and in a short time, lost the middle school program and are considering getting rid of the elementary program? And I said, no, I absolutely can't. I can tell you what happened, but I can't tell you why. And he would like to come and meet with us. He's going to be in the area on May 6th or 7th, and he'd be willing to meet with the board and discuss the importance of this program and its significance. And he's still curious as to how we went from a model, it was used as a teaching model for how to do it right, to where we are now. I guess I have to ask that question for him.
Go ahead.
I just want to make sure that we're listening to all aspects of the community, including like members of the community, teachers, students, like what we have been coming to do, and not just administration. Because what I'm just like seeing as a teenager, I'm just looking at all of these things, and it sounds like you're doing what administration wants, and it's what I'm seeing, and I think that might answer your question. Oh, maybe, I don't know.
The administrative concerns with the program. When it first started, and I'm glad Terry's here, it was $100,000 per building per year. And now we're trying to run the same program on $50,000 per year. So there have been a lot of things that had to go, just because it costs us $88,000 to run the program. We get 50. So I say it's not costing us anything, it is costing us. It's costing $38,000 to run the elementary program. Numbers have dropped significantly. No doubt that there's good for the kids to do. No doubt. We're not quarreling that at all. There's no disagreement with that. No disagreement that running club is good. We never have said that in this way. The question is, $38,000. Student numbers steadily gone down. Staff numbers. Our own staff who would teach in the program have steadily gone down because they give it all from 7:30, 8 o'clock till 3:30, and they're done. And that's pretty much all you can give. I mean, they're just tired. And without our staff buy-in, it's tough to maintain and tough to keep going. And the idea with the after-school program initially was continue some of the things that we had done during the school day. To carry on with some of the reading lessons or some of the ideas where students were short. It's hard to do when you don't have our own staff that are willing to participate. And I don't blame them. It's tough. It's a long day. But that really helped. And we had all of our own staff members when we first started the program. I mean, it was nonstop. It was all of our own people. That has hurt. That has hurt the program. The middle school program, this year we tried to find staff, and tried to find staff, and tried to find staff. Jeff, how many emails did you send out? How many phone calls did you make?
We send emails and probably 50 or 60 phone conversations. And we had people, but when we talked about it with one of the things with you guys that the enrichment piece needed to come first, because when we did have students who were being pulled out early, they were missing the enrichment piece. So they might get fast math and be able to do some math review with it, but they weren't getting the enrichment part that was intended. So by having the enrichment piece come forward, I had several people flat out tell me, I won't do it if I can't just do the academic piece and do it first. So I knew as the program director and coming in and being told this is the way that we have to do it, I had to make sure that I was complying with that. We have had a large number of people, as I'll echo what Tom said, no one's disagreeing with this. And when Terry started this, I think I looked back through the reports, 40 staff members working for both programs at one point in time. And I believe 16 to 20 of them were our teachers actively involved in it. But were in year 7 of it, and a lot of our teachers who had actively participated. Justin Zeller, who participated and was one of the, he's running Wise Guys. How can you run Wise Guys and be an after-school teacher and have our Wise Guys Club be the club that it is? Our 4-H connection, when she had a baby, she didn't want to do the after-school program and take part in that because she had a baby and wanted to stay with her child. Another element that we ran into that really hurt us as far as paras, and it's one of those unforeseen consequences, the Affordable Care Act. We are limited with hours for paras, and Tom and Lynette can attest to you the number of times that I came and begged them, can we just ignore what those hours and limits are, but we can't. Because we end up paying overtime, and that overtime would come out of our funding, because we're the ones causing the overtime to happen, so it would come out of ours. And we've got those 29-hour employees, and over the course of the year, they can only have so many hours before benefits kick in. And so we had a number of those happen. Everyone loves this program. That cut down to what we got this year. The budget that I opened when I entered to the program, it had been based on $75,000 the year before. We were bumped down to $50,000, and there was an adjustment, basically moved some percentages. When I went in and talked to Lynette, and I said, okay, these are the people working, punch in the numbers, here's what their rate and benefits are, here's what busing costs us, it didn't add up. So we were quickly in the negative. So in the middle school program for the one, and honestly, that's just a staffing issue. If I would have had people stepping up, and now we have people, because the programs, one has gone away, and another, you're hearing rumblings of possibly going away. Now we have a crowded room full of people. Now we have people saying this has to stay. When we were sending out all that communication in the fall, and I was very clear. In fact, I had teachers say, are you threatening us? Again, I come from Oshkosh, I'm not from Clintonville, and this whole idea of everyone threatening everyone, I just gotta be honest, I don't get it. It doesn't happen in the district that I came from, it just does not happen. So that's a new thing for me to adjust to, and my response was, I am not threatening anyone, I am clearly saying if we don't get enough staff to be able to run that middle school program, I cannot run it, and we have to give back the money. So I was very clear about it. And people again emailed me or called me and said, Jeff, I really would love to, but I'm just too busy, I can't do it. I believe we gave 5 kind of final warnings, and then we finally had to pull the plug on that. We didn't know if the middle school was going to run, and in the interim, I threw a lot of extra people at the after-school program at the elementary school, wanting to make sure that that program got off to a good start at the beginning of the school year. But again, as we started looking at the funding, we had people who were there, the budget wouldn't balance out. So we ended up pulling 2 people out. And if money were not a consideration, we would have left them there.
Things are not being stated correctly here. This is completely inaccurate. The budget, how much money are we paying Mr. C out of that program? Manage that program. And how many hours have you spent in the elementary program this year?
Working on the elementary program or in the building?
Doing something useful.
Michael kind of borderline here.
Wait a minute.
Jim?
We're borderline because you're giving false information. You forgot to mention the $15,000 carryover
Jim,
from the middle school.
Jim, I really, it's unfortunate that you didn't come Friday morning when we had a very professional discussion about the after-school program, and not only the budget with it, but, you know, the things that we did and the meetings that we've had throughout the school year in discussing that. You know, we went over all of that. I thought that I had provided all of the budget, including the salaries and benefits for all of
I
the
just
staff.
wanted to have it repeated. And when we.
You just wanted to have it repeated? Okay,
Repeated in public,
I can repeat that.
absolutely.
Absolutely. This is what I provided to you, was that the elementary allocation was $50,000. The carryover, which we found out about in mid-January, so this was after the first session had already completed. We did get authorization from DPI that we could use the carryover for the elementary program. And that was $15,031. Our salaries and benefits have not increased at all over, and I gave you that printout, over the last 2 to 3 years. Mr. C's salaries, 30% of his salary is charged to the CLC budget. I believe in the past, the administrators of that program was 50% of their salary was coded to that. And then we also have another teacher slash administrator who's 6%. And those are our permanent staff. 6% of the salary is charged off to that. But again, you know, I wish you had been there on Friday when we really kind of went over all of this, reviewed all of the struggles that we've had throughout the school year, especially at the beginning of the school year, and getting the program up and running. And I am certainly, I don't think any of us here would disagree that having a safe place for kids after school is a bad thing. And we have already talked about what are some other options that we have as a school district to provide what our students and our families want and need for our kids, that doesn't tie us down to a program that our staff and others just can't commit to. And I say can't because I get that. It's not that they don't want to
I wonder why
provide
they committed
services for.
before.
Pardon?
I wonder why they committed before. And all of a sudden
That's
they
a
can't.
question you'd have to ask those people that come
You
to.
Robin, what do you think? Robin, what do you think?
I miss all the staff meetings. I miss all my team meetings because I'm teaching the after-school program. I have the enrichment class and I love it. It's fun, but it's exhausting. I can tell that even my good kids in my day school are exhausted and their behavior starts to act up. It is a good program. It is a very good program. Will I do it next year? Probably not, because I have so many responsibilities during the day. And now you give me the after-school programs. I mean, I'm there till almost 6 o'clock every night trying to get everything done. So, you know, of course it's difficult. Of course the kids love it. And they hate but it's just, there's so much that we have to do during the day. It's so hard to commit.
Does it have to be school staff? Can it be
No.
teachers, volunteers, community members? Isn't that the way it's supposed to be? I wonder how many phone calls you made that actually were for community people.
Probably took 30 or 40 calls, Mr. Schultz, from community people. But again, I can't make someone work for the program. I cannot make someone work for the program.
But we could encourage people that wanted to, that didn't even really know about it, or that would have, that were aware of the needs. And you're in a new position, so you didn't know the community, you didn't know the people to talk to, but.
I can tell you, he reached out to me and asked me for resources, people who to contact, businesses who to contact, some of our key players in the community, and I gave him an entire list of people to contact. We put an ad in the paper, we put it on our website, we put it in all of the school offices. If they don't respond, I'm not sure what else we can do about it.
And if we could research something like an after-school club that doesn't have all the parameters of the
Thank you. That's where I was
specific-
leading into.
You know, so we're not there, kids aren't there till 5:45,
Yes.
and
And that's what I was leading into when I said, we want to be able to provide our district, our kids, our families with a program that they want and need without being tied to the lesson plans and the parameters that the CLC grant requires of us.
hours.
And that's really what, when we started discussing, especially when we knew that the middle school program was not going to get up and running, that's when our discussions turned to, what are some other options? How can we do this? What are some other districts doing to provide an enrichment and or after school, even if it's just care, with with some homework time or something. And those are the discussions that we've been having, with Mr. C, with Tom, that we had with Dirk on Friday. Unfortunately, he didn't come.
Was the
About
whole
what
board
else?
invited to that meeting? I wasn't
Pardon?
invited to that.
Pardon?
Was the whole board invited to that meeting?
No, we wouldn't be able to do that. That violates open meeting law. But my understanding was that Dirk had asked you to come. So,
You
anyway,
said that Mr. O'Toole and you and I should get together and talk about this. And I said that'd be more appropriate to have to take place at the open meeting.
and that's fine.
That's the meeting
And it
that
could
she's
have been an
referring
open
to.
meeting, we could have had if you wanted to have the board involved in
Okay,
what's going on.
Mark, you had something else to say?
The only thing I want to say is Allison from DPI, who happens to run this program for the state of Wisconsin, there's 243 districts in the state that run this program, and there's only been three that have turned money back in, and Clintonville is one of them.
Imagine that.
It is. It's sad that we couldn't find people to work it. One of the other things about the CLC program is that in other districts, they have a lot more resources to draw from, Green Bay and Appleton and Oshkosh. They have tons of resources of programming, YMCA, junior achievement, just large programs.
80% of my staff in a school of 1,000 students were volunteer. We had Future Phoenix, we had NWTC, we had UWGB and St. Norbert's. So they were all volunteer and unpaid, and that's how I could get, when the grant got cut, that's how I could continue it. Otherwise, we didn't have the funding either.
It's just been a challenge with the limited community resources that we have here, and that's just how it is for us in Clintonville, good and bad.
Okay, I don't want to take too many more, but.
I just have a few things to say. As a volunteer in the school district, I do volunteer reading at the Delwood School for the bookworms program. I had done knitting classes at the library. I think if you really put a good effort out to get volunteers from our community, particularly grandparents that may be retired, don't have a full-time job, I think you would find you would get a lot of people that would love to come in there, men as well as women, that would teach these kids lifelong skills and teach them things that bring back skills that haven't been taught for a long time. Kids are sponges. They love to learn. So, I don't look at it as a babysitting service. I don't look at it as an adding burden onto anybody. If we are asked, I know we would get volunteers to come. Now, I did not know about this at all as far as being advertised in the paper. I didn't see that because I, for one, would probably jump right in. I love working with kids. And wouldn't you rather have these kids being taught skills that they could take with them their entire lifetime? I'd much rather see the schools be a good place for kids to be than later on build prisons to put them in because they've been running the streets and getting into trouble because they haven't been guided the right way. I'm not blaming it on parents. I'm just saying we were all kids once, and if we weren't taught right from wrong and done the things with our parents and grandparents, I've learned a lot from my grandparents. None of them are with me anymore, but those are lifelong skills. That's where I learned to tie quilts and to knit and to do fun things, and it was fun. You can make it fun. So I think that's just kind of a cop-out. I think there's money available. I don't want to be paid, but if you have this going, why aren't we expounding on it? I'm sure you get a lot of people that would be willing to volunteer their time and not be asked to be paid for it. And I don't know what the rules are here, but I think we have a great community. We have a wonderful school system. Let's do it the right way so we can ease up these teachers that apparently don't have the time or the energy to put into it. We have a lot of people here in this community that I believe would help. Thank you.
Okay, I see two more hands up, and after that, I'm going to have to just kind of cut it off, so go ahead.
Okay, my name's Darren Carrig. I'm a junior at Clintonville High School, just so you know who I am. Why haven't we asked high school students? I, for one, would be willing, and I do football in the fall, but other than that, I would donate anytime it's needed, and I could talk to other high school students and see who'd be willing to volunteer their time. I already know myself and other students volunteer with the Wiser guys for mentoring. I enjoy it, I think it's fun, so if you're looking, the high school students would be willing to help, and we could get numbers for you so you have an idea.
Thank you.
Sorry, Dan Hansen. I'll defer my time because I'm just regurgitating what Mrs. Couch and what this young gentleman said, but my kids love it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr.
I would just say we do have, 6 high school students who currently do volunteer. I did communicate with Mr. Bagstead and also with Stacy Benzer, who was the director the last 2 years. We did have teachers communicating with kids. We got 6. And I think we've all reiterated, no one wants to end this program.
Pass it around.
I got a notepad, seriously, but the volunteer part, because with that $50,000, $11,000 is busing. Including when we take 2 kids out to Bear Creek for $50 a day. This has happened multiple times. The bus costs what the bus costs. So if we can get volunteers, then we could actually spend some of that grant money on some of the great field trips that were part of it, that we did not have money to be able to do this year, some of the other enrichment pieces. I would love for that to happen.
And we might have a little money in the director part of it, because I can't imagine you spent 30% of your time on that program. And I can't imagine, unless it's trying to keep iPads that are supposed to be passed down to the elementary program, from the middle school program, from that program.
I just have one. Is busing mandatory?
Is busing a mandatory?
Is busing a mandatory thing? Or is it just, or we're obligated? It is,
Terry?
okay.
Terry's kind of raising her hand.
I believe it is.
Oh, well, I'll allow Terry to speak. She's
I was just
more of an
wondering if
expert
it's
than I.
mandatory.
I didn't see it.
You have, transportation can't be a barrier.
It can't be. Okay, so it has to be available for
Right.
those that need it. Okay, that was just my question, to see if maybe options on busing situations that can get parents to come get their kids, like the Wise Guys do and the You Go Girls do.
Right.
And the
Yeah,
running
it just,
club
it
too.
says busing can't be a barrier. Or I'm sorry, transportation doesn't have to be busing, but we have rural communities, so.
Well, this is an action item. Are there any more discussion from the board? I guess one question I would have is when is this required application? May 15th. So we are kind of under the.
And we've got all the information.
All right, so, but I mean, we have to either make the decision now or we can't put this off.
I wouldn't wait till the May 11th.
Right, so.
Definitely have positive for all the kids that
And I know one of the other options that was talked about was for the district would be to have, explore other options. But if you were looking at 88,000 versus, so you're looking at $38,000, could you run a similar program for 38,000 without having to jump to the hoop? I don't know. I think that's a fair question to ask. Unless you want to do it all in volunteer time, which maybe would work. I would be hesitant to try it.
I just want, it's not nothing, I just want to know, I don't know much about the after school. Do you have to do both schools, or is there an option just to keep one or the other?
You've already given up the one. So
They already lost the middle school.
So
now
that,
it's
so, but we could
elementary.
still proceed with elementary?
Yes.
And if we're already short on volunteers, could we, is there an option that they can look into, seeing if they get another volunteers to make our budget quota? Is that something that we're thinking about?
I guess another question would be is if we would make the application to extend the grant, is there any harm to the district if then at some future time we decide, like the middle school, we just stopped and there was no harm to the district? So then I would say apply it.
Let's apply for it and give it back if the volunteers don't for it.
So we could apply for it, and then if we can't find the volunteers that we need to run it, we could just give the money back.
That's what we did last year.
Okay, just wondering, because I don't know much about it. Okay.
So is there any more discussion? Otherwise, I will call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion passes. Oh, no, to apply, the motion is, oh, no, it's, I'm sorry, to whether or not. I'm sorry. So is it, should we apply for an additional grant year? And
I would move that we,
so who was, Tom was the mover, so would you say to apply for an additional grant?
Correct.
And Clyde, would you agree with that for your second? Okay, now I will call the action item. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, we will apply for an additional grant. Thank you all for coming. Some announcements?
Really, they're listed there.